Hey friends, Kat here. How you doing? I hope you're doing really great. Hey, if you want to be more seen and more heard online, and if you want to grow your audience, and if you want to have more opportunities to speak, more invitations to share your message with more people, you are absolutely in the right place and you're going to get a lot out of this session. I'm Kat Miller, and I have found over many years that speaking in other people's audiences is one of the best ways, the fastest ways to grow your audience, to get more leads, and to increase your reach and your following. It also helps position you in your audience's mind. And I know a lot of you are thinking, yeah, but, or what if? So some of you have done some presenting before and you want to do more of it, or you want to actually be invited to speak in more events or get more interviews or be invited guests on summits or in Facebook groups or anywhere that people are hanging out that you know that you can help and provide value to. And some of you haven't done a lot of presenting, but you'd like to. There's a part of you that's like a little bit intimidated or a little bit scared, or can I really do that? For me, it was, who am I? Who am I to do that? That was a big limiting belief that I had for years until I switched it to, why not me? And those three little words, who am I, were holding me back and keeping me stuck and small for years until I switched it to three new words, why not me? And so I want to encourage you, wherever you're at in your presenting journey, right at the beginning, never done a presentation before, never run an event, all the way through to someone who has presented a lot. I've done hundreds of events and I still am constantly learning and upskilling and upgrading and up-leveling and will for the rest of my life, because this craft of presenting, speaking in public, is one of the most powerful skills that you can learn. I'd love to know, those of you who are here live, welcome by the way, those of you who are here live. By the way, could you just pop a hashtag live if you're here with me? I'd love to know who is here with me in the group right now. Can you just pop a hashtag live? If you're watching the replay, just pop a hashtag replay in the chat box so I know who's here. And I love to get engagement. So please feel free to comment, engage in the comments. It always really helps me out. Because I don't want to just show up and have a one-way conversation. I want to know what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what's coming up for you, what's making sense, what you're liking. So please pop it in the chat box. Use that to extend the chat. And I know a lot of you guys do that, and I really appreciate it. I'm grateful. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how I got invited to speak at 6 different events over the last 17 days. And so these were all different types of events. A couple of them were summits, so being an invited guest on someone who's running a summit. And 2 of the events are run by people that are overseas, which I think is fantastic, because this is a way to grow your audience in multiple countries, nations, continents, which I just think is so powerful. And one of the most positive things that's come out of the pandemic is our audience is way more global than ever, which is super exciting. And so I want to show you how to do it, because if you apply the same method, you can get the same results. And it might take you time. Yes, I've been speaking for a while, but the principles that I've extracted, there's 5 main things that I did, you can do them too. And before I dive in, I just want to know from those of you who are here live, or even if you're on the replay, why do you think presenting and speaking at other people's events, or being interviewed, or putting yourself forward to speak in an event, why do you think it's such a great way to grow your business? I'm really curious. Why do you think that is? Just pop in the comments. Why do you think it's so powerful? Thank you, Donna. Great to see you here. Why do you think it's so powerful? Like, what are some of the benefits of this? Because if you're going to do it, if you're thinking, I could do this, I can move from why not me, who am I, to why not me, there's a few obstacles that we're going to have to overcome. Of course, a lot of them are internal, most of them are internal. But in order to overcome those obstacles, we need to have a strong why. So I want you to tap into your why. Why would you want to be invited to speaking events? Why? Why would that be helpful for you? Why would that help you grow your business, do you think? what I've noticed for me, there's really 5 main reasons. The first reason is that it allows you to build trust. You can build trust with people a lot faster when they get to see you and hear you speak than if it's words, typed font on a page. So you get to build trust. You get time with people. You get attention. You can't build trust without time, and time is something that's so precious and valuable, always has been, but now that there's so much information online, even more important that we grab attention and that we maintain people's attention, because that's how we build trust. We can't build trust if people don't have time with us. It also increases your positioning and credibility, and this is as old as time. Whoever's on the platform, whoever's holding the speaker's stick, which turned into the microphone as it evolved over the years, people listen. So if you want people to listen to you, you need to be on a platform. Now, that doesn't mean being on a stage. By a platform, it means you're in a structured environment where people understand you are the one speaking. And if you love talking, which I know a lot of you do, I love talking, presenting is just such an amazing thing because people listen. They don't interrupt. Well, sometimes they do, sometimes you get hecklers, but mostly you get to talk about something you love. And as soon as you put yourself on a platform, like I said, not necessarily a stage, but you are the speaker, could be Zoom, it could be Facebook Live, like I'm doing right now, you increase your positioning and credibility in their mind. You can also help way more people at once. It's leveraged. So instead of you telling one person one awesome thing, telling another person an awesome thing, and doing that 50 times, that would take 50 hours. If you spend an hour sharing, you can speak to 50 people for 1 hour. So you've just 50x'd your time. And obviously it can go way more than 50 people. It can just keep growing exponentially. You can share with new audiences what you do, especially if you're speaking in other people's audiences. It opens up all these new opportunities. One of the events that I spoke at is a network that I'm part of, that I've just been forming relationships with people within that community. And so when you start having joint ventures and people start to get to know you, then new opportunities to speak open up. So some people make the mistake of thinking that people who present are super extroverted. Not true. In fact, I heard a statistic, I can't remember where it came from, so don't quote me, but around 70% of speakers, professional presenters, are extroverted. Introverted, not extroverted, introverted. 70% introverted, 30% extroverted. So if that's one of your excuses, please just don't cross that one out. Goodbye excuse. Let's keep bringing the excuses to the surface and ticking them off. Maybe you think you need to be super charismatic. You don't. You need to know how to engage people. You need to know how to speak the right message to the right audience. There's a whole craft behind that, but you don't need to be loud. You don't need to be super polished or professional. There are, whatever excuse you're coming up with, I just want you to just go, thank you, brain, for caring, trying to keep me safe. I understand it can feel intimidating, but it's not a valid excuse. And by the way, people say to me all the time, oh, you're just natural. And one of my mentors, Ben Harvey, he says, telling people that they're natural is one of the most insulting things you can say. I don't get insulted, but I think about how much I've put into this craft, and it's just training. There is nothing natural about it at all. There's not. If you think that people are just intuitively off the cuff winging it, they're just good at it, that is another excuse that your brain is throwing up to keep you safe. So let's dive into the 5 things I recommend if you want to be an invited guest speaker. And by the way, if you haven't already, I would suggest that you write down where you want to speak. When I was speaking face-to-face all the time, I wrote down the exact venues, I wrote the companies I wanted to speak at, I wrote the kind of people that I wanted to speak at. If you don't write it down, then it's less likely to happen. So write down, where would you love to speak? What kind of summits, what kind of groups would you like to speak in? Because there's so much happening online, and good quality content with great speakers People need them. People need you. So if you haven't already, grab a pen and notebook and write these 5 things down. Number 1, first thing you need to do is position yourself as a community leader. You position yourself in the communities that you show up in as a leader. So I want you to ask yourself, how are you showing up in your communities? Think about all the communities you show up in, and would someone say, yes, she's a leader, yes, he's a leader? Would that be said about you? Do you turn your camera on? Do you engage? Do you write comments? Do you encourage people? Do you support people? Do you support people online? Would people think of you as a leader, or are you more of the quiet one in the background? And it's said about leadership that leaders, if no one's making you the leader, you have to make yourself the leader. And this is part of the entrepreneurial mindset. I'm going to talk about that soon. But part of this is not waiting until someone says, hey, I recognize some talent in you. Sometimes you've got to position yourself as the leader. And this is about positioning. It is about positioning, because the way you position yourself determines how other people position you in their minds. So you have to take charge of how people are positioning you, meaning how do they perceive you? Do you go up in their value when you start talking, or do you go down in their value? Because people make snap judgments based on their first impression, and then it's your job, based on what you say and how you say it, what you say, your tonality and your body language, the 3 parts of communication. The positioning either goes up or down. Now, I know we all have bad days, of course, and sometimes you might show up in a Zoom call and there's hundreds of people on and you just think, oh, you know, I'll just turn my camera off and yeah, I'll just kind of do my washing. I know we all have days like that, and I'm not one of those people that says every single time I'm just sitting there staring at a lens all day. No, I do other things as well. But when the stakes are high, when it matters what people are thinking of you, you want to position yourself as a leader, or a leader of your topic of influence, or a thought leader in your field, right? As a leader in your area of expertise. So there's different ways that we can position ourselves. What I recommend, and I always talk about these 2 things when it comes to positioning, is strength and warmth. Being strong, but also being warm. Now, being strong is about being direct, knowing what you want, being goal-driven, being ambitious, being credible. Now, if we don't talk ourselves up, and I know it's very un-Australian, and for those of you outside of Australia, it's, you know, no one likes a bragger. Let's be honest. I'm from New Zealand. It's the same thing. But even in countries where it is, we do celebrate people more. If you don't match your strength and your directness and your full-on, you know, let's go energy with warmth. Warmth is where you're empathetic, where you're compassionate, where you're friendly, where you're personable, where you're human. If we don't match it, if we don't balance it, it's very hard to be a great leader or to be a great influencer. So I often call it credibility. If we don't, and it doesn't mean bragging on ourselves, you know, none of us like tooting our own trumpet, but if we don't share our credibility, and there's a whole way of doing it, I've got a whole method behind it that I don't have time to go into, but if we don't show why we're valuable, then people won't trust us. And if we're just raving on about how great we are, but we don't match that with warmth, people won't see us as a leader. If we're only warm and we don't have some strength and some backbone and some drive and, you know, some energy behind us, people will think that we're nice and lovely, but they won't want to follow us. You know, their positioning is, oh, she's a nice person. So when we back credibility and humility, people listen to what we say. And I could talk about this for days on end. But basically, and I've got a whole training on positioning. Just drop me a DM if you want me to direct you to that. I can send you the link to that if you want to know more about this, because it's a huge subject. But basically, when you position yourself as super credible, so you're communicating your value, but you're also being humble, like saying that it's not just because of you. You got there because of mentors and you know, all the people that have helped you get there. That helps balance it, right? And I like to think of it like an emotional bank account. We're always making withdrawals and deposits. And so when it comes to positioning, have you made plenty of deposits and not just withdrawals? When you show up, do you have the intention to give, or what can I get out of this? And it's a subtle thing, like it comes down to just an intention, but it's a metaphor for having an effect on people. People like people that they are like, and people like people who are givers of time, givers of energy. Doesn't mean you need to be a pushover, but if you want to increase your positioning as a leader, we don't just sell to people, we make deposits first. We give value, we teach content, we're generous with what we do so people can get to know, like, and trust us. That's a big part of building yourself as a community leader. Positioning yourself as a prize. You're the prize. And you want to prize yourself and what you offer, and only work with people who recognize your value. But it's up to you to actually position yourself as that community leader, to have emotion, to have energy, to have enthusiasm with the way you show up. So people go, spot the leader, I see her. She's going places, she's got a vision, I want to follow her. So that's number one. The second one is, and that's the biggest one, the second one is to invest in paid communities. Paid communities. There are a million, I don't know how many, there's millions of free communities online. What I've found saves a lot of time is investing in paid communities, because first of all, the people who show up, they're invested, so they're typically, I don't mean they're better people, I mean they're a higher caliber of commitment, of willingness. It's not about, pay to play, like, if you pay then you're a better person. It's not that. It's that people who are willing to invest in their business, and I've done this no matter how broke I am, no matter how many credit cards I have to fill, I always am in paid communities. I'm in 5 at the moment. 5 paid communities, not free, because there's a big difference. And I get a lot of clients from paid communities. It's not my intention of joining the paid community. My intention is to connect and give value and build relationships and learn and all of that, but it's just come as a byproduct. As soon as I started investing into paid communities, and I invest a lot, all this kind of fear and anxiety came up of like, it's a lot of money going out, but it shows you that you're serious about business. And it levels you up so fast. So these 6 events that I got invited to, I think 3 of them came as a result of being in these paid communities. It shows that you're backing yourself, that you're believing in yourself, and it's just a really great investment in your business. Number 3, how are we tracking, team? Are we good? Thanks everybody for all your great comments. So great to have you here. Stepping up. I love that, Sarah. So number 3, over-deliver and add value wherever you go. If you're writing this down, over-deliver and add value wherever you go. And this is all about doing great work. Sometimes I think that we're sold this lie that we just need to be top of mind. We just need to be out there all the time. I always say to the people in my inner circle, clients, if you can do quality and quantity, do both. If you have to choose, do quality. Because there's no point putting a whole lot of stuff out there if it's not good. It's better to go into your cave, create great work, have plenty of time and space to go for walks in nature, allow your creativity to flow through, and not be consistently consuming other people's stuff all the time. Like, of course, there's so much great, amazing stuff out there, but sometimes we just got to stop that, and we've just got to create something great of our own, because otherwise we lose our voice. We forget what's important to us. We're just consuming so many other people's things, and we forget, hey, it's about me creating something good, and that needs space. That needs us to go into our content cave, have cave days. So for me, I only coach on 2 days, one-on-one clients on 2 days. The rest of the time is thinking time, space time, creating, great ideas, thinking about how I can help my community more, going over and above for clients, reaching out to clients, doing things that they don't expect, that they're not paying me for outside of our sessions. I do so much for people, not because I feel like I need to or have to, but because I want to, because I really care about getting people's results. And when you have that over and above, when you have that intention to go into everything you do with how can I make this better? How can I be more excellent? Then people recognize that. And they say, like one of the ladies that invited me to speak at her summit, she came to my workshop and she observed me. And she said, you're exactly what I want for the summit. I didn't actually fit the criteria. But she said, I don't care. I know you're going to provide value because I got so much value out of your free masterclass. So when you do that, when you don't just give it, a bit of a half job, when you say, how can I make this better? How can I keep pushing those standards of excellence? Not perfection, but excellence. That people notice. People notice and they refer. They will refer you to more people. Is this helpful, people? Are you making lots of notes? I can see a lot of you here that are note takers, Sarah and Donna and Cynthia and Trish. I know a lot of you are note takers. I hope this is helpful. Let me know. What are you getting out of this? Please pop it in the comments. It's always helpful for me to know. All right. Let me just have a look at my notes here. Number 4, run your own events. This by far is the main reason I get invited to speak at events. In fact, this whole Facebook Live video, I was just going to talk about this because it by far is the reason that I get invited to speak so much. Remember at the beginning I said it's about positioning, and I talked about when you are willing to put yourself on a platform, people can watch you. First of all, they can watch you speak and they go, oh, I like that. I like what she's sharing. They get to watch your videos. They get to see you perform, if you know what I mean. So if they're seeing you showing up consistently, that's often why you'll get the invites. So I remember years back, I was speaking at an International Women's Day event, and an organizer contacted me and asked me to speak at their event. And I said, oh, sorry, I've already got a prior engagement at that time. I can't do it. It was a face-to-face event. And she said, hey, do you know anyone? We're actually really stuck. Do you know anyone that could speak? And I said, you know what? I've got some incredible people in my community. I'll put up a post. So I put up a Facebook post. I just said, hey, I was invited to speak. Who has a message for women that you think is valuable, empowering, inspiring? And it's one of the longest lot of comments I've ever had. So many people said, yes, me. And you know what? I looked at that list and I thought, you just said you've got a valuable message to share. Why aren't you sharing it? I looked at people's profiles and I don't think I've ever seen you on video. I don't think I've ever seen you show up. I don't think I've ever seen you run a 1 hour easy, online workshop or something online. Why? Why are you robbing the world of your gifts when you have a powerful message to share? And the other thing that I found really interesting about this post is that so many people said, I'm interested. What time is it? Can you let me know the details? Is it paid? All these kind of things. The one lady that I recommended was a friend of mine who said, I'd be honored to share at this event. These are the reasons. She listed the reasons. She has spoken before. She doesn't just wait for the invitation. She makes it happen. And she's the one I said, yeah, it's yours. Connected them. So when you run your own events and people see you showing up live, now these don't have to be crazy. This can be a 60-minute masterclass, online workshop, on Zoom, invite some friends, give it a crack. It doesn't have to be a big fancy event. In fact, just about everybody that's doing this in my community, my clients, very basic. And I teach them how to do it. And we layer them. The more they do, the more we layer in more and more advanced strategies. So you don't have to have all the ducks in the row to do it, because every time you do an event, you just add little bits and pieces. but you will get noticed. You'll get noticed by people who are looking for great speakers. Whenever I see those Facebook threads, hey, we're looking for a speaker, often I'll put my description in. I really think about it properly because you've got to sell people on the benefits. And inevitably, that organizer, that speaker will message me because they've gone to my website, they've seen that I run my own events. So if you haven't run an event, what are you waiting for? Let those excuses come to the surface, and then one by one, just work through them, eradicate them, get a coach, do a mindset, whatever you need to do to get rid of them, because this can be a game changer for you. All right, number 5, I've got to move fast. I love this topic. If you haven't noticed, I could share about it all day. Number 5 is you need to have an entrepreneurial mindset. An entrepreneurial mindset. A lot of us are waiting to feel ready before we do anything, but that day hardly ever comes. I never feel like I'm fully prepared for an event. I never feel like the presentation that I've written is best 100% that I could possibly get it. I always feel like I could do more. And that's a good thing. It's exciting. It keeps you feeling alive because you're always evolving. And growth is one of the highest human needs, progression. So instead of thinking, after I've done this, when I've done this, I'll keep pushing out the date, putting it off, what is good enough? At what point is something good enough? Is it ever good enough? Like, according to whose standard? This is like this ever-moving bar that we keep setting for ourselves. And if we're really honest with ourselves, we're trying to get it perfect, even though we know that there's no such thing. People who have a PhD, there are people who have a PhD and still don't feel smart enough. There are people who are models. I used to work with a lot of them. They still don't feel pretty enough. It's not about being good enough. It's about feeling good enough. I'll say that again. It's not about being good enough. It's about feeling I'm good enough. I can get better, but I choose to do it anyway. It's a choice. The best way to get better at anything is to do it. Nothing can get better if you don't start. You can't improve what doesn't exist. So the sooner you do this, the sooner you'll get it, the better you'll get at it, the quicker that you'll progress. Because the longer you leave it, the harder it gets. And in business, there are 2 paths. There's the easy path where you just keep waiting, you keep watching what other people are doing, you kind of sit on the sidelines, and then there's the path that's the harder part, the scarier path, where you decide, I'm going to do this hard thing. I'm going to face this thing. I'm going to face into the fear. I'm going to lean into it. I'm going to choose to do it. I'm going to ask for what I want. I'm going to reach out to people and ask to speak at their events. I'm going to communicate my value. I'm going to record videos. I'm going to show up when I don't feel like it. Whatever it is for you, I know for you there's a next level. There's something that's between you and stepping out of your comfort zone. And things begin to change when you make the choice to go from invisible to being influential, to go all in, and no one can make this decision for you. It's a decision that each of us have to personally make, and when we make this decision, our whole world can change. Our whole world can change. It has for me, and I know it can for you. So team, there's one thing to know this intellectually and get it. It's another thing to actually apply it, right? Implementation is the name of the game. It's not just going, yeah, that makes sense, Kat. If you want help with this is why we need support, because we can know something but still not do it. If you need support with this, if you want help with this, if you know there's a next level for you, maybe it's a mindset, maybe it's a strategy, something that you need, I would like to offer you an opportunity to have a chat with me and work out what is that thing in the way, and let's move through it. Would you like to know how to grow your business using the power of influence, growing your audience, whether that's in your content, in your marketing, in your presenting, anywhere that you show up? I'm going to open up 3 spaces in my calendar next week for a client attraction strategy session. This is an accelerator session. If you haven't had a strategy session with me already, and you're ready to attract more clients and step up, grow your audience, get more leads, get more clients fast, I'm going to fit in 3 sessions. So if you want to be one of the people, DM me the word clients and I'll get you all the details. Thanks for tuning in. I'm just going to review those 5 things again. Number 1, position yourself as a community leader. Number 2, invest in paid communities. Number 3, over-deliver and add value wherever you go. Number 4, run your own events. Number 5, have an entrepreneurial mindset. If you want help with this, if you need support, DM me the word clients and I will get you all the details. Until we meet again, thank you for being here. I truly appreciate it. I hope you got a lot of value. Before you go, can you just pop in the comments, what did you get out of this? I know it was a bit of a long one, this session. It's a really big topic, but what did you get out of it? That would be so helpful for me if you could just pop, what did you get out of this session? What was 1, 2, or 3 little gems that kind of just stood out to you? Anything that you wrote on your page and you thought, that's good. Until we meet again, my friends, keep shining, keep sharing. Take care. Bye for now.